Hello, everyone. Yes, Mårten Skogö, node.vc. I'm here together with Antti Sunnari from Dispelix. My background is as a tech entrepreneur for 20 years and actually the inventor of 200 granted patents. It's been a few years now, but your company you have 230 patents, you said?
We are around 230 patents currently in our company. Yeah. So, but the many inventors, not just one inventor.
No, I'm not the sole inventor of the patents that I have granted, but I'm one of the inventor on all of those. So it's super nice to meet you in person. Our companies have been collaborating more or less since inception. You started the company, spun out in some 10 years ago?
Yeah, so we founded
9 years ago?
We founded the company end of 2015 and we spin out from VTT 2016 early, I think April or something. Yeah, in that time. But it's no surprise that there is a collaboration. We both work near to eye, like we do the near eye displays, and you have the eye tracking, Toby.
Yeah. So that's where we join forces. I think a lot of the patents are in similar domains as well. So, but let's dig into that. Sort of a large patent portfolio, it comes with a lot of challenges, and sort of developing a deep tech company addressing a global market. I think it's very important to have a patent protection. Let's start from beginning. So how do you work with innovation harvesting and just identifying ideas to patents?
Yeah, so when we started, we didn't have like any program. Like you are 10 people. So you get like it's like a golden age of making inventions. There is constant development on the technology, and you have the like low-hanging fruit. So you get like really much on the pipeline of inventions, and then going those on the patenting. But then things get harder and harder throughout the years, and many easy things are invented.
And it was also early days for waveguides in general, I guess.
Yeah,
even though there'd been research, of course, you have to consider that when looking into what prior art exists.
Yeah. So Nokia is one of the forerunners on this technology, but they drop it in before we founded the company and spin out. But that was like the prior art, and then looking for how to make that even better. And of course, there was a lot of things happening at the same times, like LED lights, like the CPU power, now GPU power, that you can actually calculate and design things that was impossible like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It would just take so much time. But as I said, when things get harder and harder, you have to think about how you get more inventions and harness inventions from your company. And I was thinking of that with our IP manager and so on, and our general counsel, and I was like, hey, do our engineers really know what are the key problems? Because they are doing NRE projects, they are focusing on one thing. Part of the guys are doing metrology, some are doing manufacturing in the clean room. So do they really know like what are the big challenges we have on our waveguides? And then we decided that, hey, let's do a program that every quarter, at least, we present the whole company one challenge. Is it like a color uniformity? What have been the solutions for that? How it's done on the prior art and so forth? But the solution doesn't exist. So that you get actually the engineers to thinking of how can I solve that problem? It was like I was working at the BTT before spin out. I made many innovations and notification of inventions and patents, but those was always the field that I was doing to the project that I was doing.
Yeah.
And no one ever said that, okay, these are like the big challenges that I was doing on those projects. And that worked like extremely well. First of all, we get more qualified notification of inventions, and we get more of those inventions. to go forward.
Do you have many patent applications with multiple inventors, or how does that work?
So I would say most of the patents we have 2 to 3 inventors. Of course, there are some that only 1, but usual number is 2 to 3 inventors there.
Yeah. So how do you work? You said you're head of IP. So my experience is it's super good to have someone. Once you start having a bit more of a portfolio and body of the company, we recruited a chief IP officer, a real entrepreneur who drove both drafting, but also the whole geographical strategy and how to move along, as well as monetizing, which is, you're not really there yet, if I understand.
Yeah, we are not really yet there.
Yeah,
soon to be there.
Soon to be there. Yeah. How do you sort of, because many a times you have a few key engineers who are extremely vital for the critical projects. And many a times they coincide with being the inventors of the patents. How do you handle this? Because at Tobii, we put incentive structures in place, and then a few of the engineers really wanted to spend too much time on inventions and getting the patent bonus, but where you really wanted them to, of course, bring their ideas to the table and get the patents, but not spend too much time on applying them.
Yeah, so at the beginning it was our CTO, my co-founder, and he was doing all the patenting, all the work. And you know, it's easy when you are 10, 20 people. It's like really easy. Oh, it was your idea. And then if someone contributed a lot on that, okay, you are on that patent. Many times the inventions came in just a coffee table when you discuss on the things, and hey, could that work? And then another guy says, yeah, and if you do that, you add this one, and then you have like really easily that. Nowadays it's like because we are over 100 and a lot of patents and so forth, we have like a patent port, we get the notification of inventions, we go through those and we get recommendations to the inventor that, hey, we know that patent exists or that thing and how it's compared to that one, or our earlier patent, like how it's different from that. And usually the patent or the invention starts in one place, but then it evolves much better or bigger invention that you can actually have a much wider protection. And usually in that process, we don't add inventors because it's just like, we are not really bringing new things on the invention. We are just like, hey, could you look on that, right, or that area? And on the early days, it was my co-founder doing all the patent filing and replies to the patent office and all of those. And that was the struggle when we hit around, I think, 50 patents, that, hey, someone really needs to handle this. Like, your time is more important on something else than, taking care of that. And doing a waveguides, there is not many patent engineers globally that understand the technology. And when you have a patent engineer writing the application and they really don't understand the technology, it takes a lot of time and effort that you have to explain, okay, that is not the right way to say, and so forth. Finally, we've hired one guy. He actually was granted last 2 weeks ago the European patent officer, like a title, or passed that exam. So we find a great guy that can actually write, understand the technology, and can work on those so that the inventors don't need to spend their time there.
Is he doing the full drafting then, or is he doing sort of the outline for an external counsel doing the drafting?
He's not doing the drafting, so there is an outside counsel doing the drafting, but he's guiding them and being linked between the inventor itself.
Yeah,
because he understands so well, and we discussed before we go to the patenting, he got the idea, okay, this is the area we protect, we add these things and those, and compare. So that takes a lot from the inventors, because if the inventors, the engineers and the inventors needs to do that by themselves, they just stop writing notification of inventions, no matter what is your compensation policy. Like,
yeah, I mean, either they do that or they spend a lot of time doing things they're not super good at.
Yes.
It's my experience.
Yes.
I mean, at Tobii, when I left 5 years ago, we had our chief IP doing sort of handling everything and just keeping track of deadlines for response. Only that in itself is a challenge once you start having a patent portfolio of several hundred patents. Yeah. But also the whole strategy, how to apply, we actually worked quite extensively with continuations in part in the US. We had a philosophy to always keep all patents alive in the US, because it's most of the litigations are in the US, and when you look at the value of a patent, it's usually 10 times as high in the US as in any other geography.
Yeah.
What's your thinking about geographies? How do you, I mean, because obviously you want to have a fast prior art search and good response so that you can adapt. How do you work with that? And at the same time, you want to push costs into the future, or at least we wanted to do that.
Yeah, we do of course the same.
Yeah.
So our strategy first was that, okay, we file in Finland because we get a very fast response, and then we can modify during the time that the application is not public. So we
18 months, yeah.
Yeah, so we can do modifications, couple of iterations even in Finland before it go to PCT. And then once we get the priority in Finland before it's public, we do the PCT filing, and then to the countries that are not on the PCT treaty, like Taiwan.
But you haven't had to do US provisionals. I don't know the regulations around that, but we handed in UK together with US provisional to get the same application date for a US application. Maybe that has changed over the last years.
Yeah. So basically, it goes to the same prior date that you have filed in Finland goes in the USA. So the same date is there. And going through this Finland, or let's say UK, and then PCT, and then other countries, pushes your big payments to 3-4 years forward.
Yeah.
If you go directly to the USA and the countries, like file everywhere at the same time, then your cost will go high really soon. But of course, it depends on the industry, like waveguides for smart glasses, eyewear. It's just coming in a couple of years, so we don't need to be that hasty on filing like in a USA. But if you are really in the Red Sea market that we're really competing, then the story is different. You file first in the USA. And I totally agree that if you don't get your patent in the USA, you can think that, is there worth on this patent really? Because USA is the biggest one.
Yeah. How do you think about Japan? I know when we were sort of in the early days of Tobii, I think it's probably still the same, that they have on our space, which is yours as well, there was prior art available in Japanese that didn't exist outside in the rest of the world. So whenever you had a patent, it was like, okay, do we roll the dice? Do we actually apply in Japan, or do we rather not?
Yeah. So we categorize on our inventions. If it's like a really big breakthrough, we have huge coverage, like Japan and those. Then if that is not that breakthrough, or if it's related more on the manufacturing, we take the manufacturing countries. And of course, that's China, Taiwan, Korea, those for our waveguides. And then smaller ones, more applications, and those we focus on the main markets, like biggest markets, US, China, Europe. Yeah, that's like the big market already. So we have the categories, but we do go to Japan, and of course there is a risk on the prior art. But I have found out that once you got the US patent granted, usually everyone else grants like really fast. It goes. Like that so many times that we have been struggling some country to get the patent through, but then suddenly when it's granted in the USA, you have 3 months and it's granted like everywhere that you applied. It shouldn't be that way, but it is actually how it is.
Yeah. When you start having a decent portfolio, my experience is also that you start tripping yourself. I mean, we started getting our own patents cited as prior arts, blocking future patents. I mean, you can have different sort of what I described about having continuations in part is to be able to, okay, if this patent is blocking me, then I could actually put in the description of the new invention in this continuation of part, which then gives me the old priority date. So I'm not going to have 20 years, but maybe 12. What do I know? Depending on when it was applied. It's a way of overcoming that, but then you can't go outside of the US. So you're blocked to the US. But how, I mean, there are of course a lot of different approaches, but how do you, I've seen companies putting in like 100 inventions into one huge document. And then you have, from the same document, you have these set of claims and these set of claims and these set of claims. So it can be, one document can turn into 200 patents.
Yes. Usually when we look at invention and there is someone, our old patent or current application like blocking that, the question comes that, is it included in that invention or that patent or not? If it's not included on that one, what is the angle on the claims that we can use to get that like true? So we don't do that much on the continuum patents, but that's something that we are thinking. But currently you can separate the inventions and the thinking is like, is it included on that patent or not? Is that patent already covering that invention or not? If it's not covering, what is the difference on that patent that we can address in the claims that we are not coming against on our old patent?
Yeah.
That is how we usually build that one.
Yeah, we had the previous discussion here before we got on stage was about trade secrets and sort of the challenges there. You have sort of, because that's always a question, okay, what do you patent and what do you keep as a trade secret? The other aspect of that is, okay, tripping yourself, yes, but you can also block others by, in Sweden we have certain newspapers that where you publish ideas just to make them public, so no one else can patent them. But you can also put in descriptions that actually don't relate to your claims into patent applications. Is that something you've considered or?
So, of course, it's a strategy what you write in the patent text. Because patent text you can disclose much more wider thing that is hard to put on your claims, but that would actually block others because of that text.
And yourself.
Well, and ourselves.
That's always the tough trade-off. Okay. Should we just, we have what, 8 seconds? That's not very long. Just a last question. Freedom to operate, that's sort of a very sensitive area. Would you, because I know we had at Tobii, it was like, okay, do we want to know or do we rather not want to know? Obviously you want to know what you could potentially be blocked from. But in the US, if you're willfully infringing, if you're actually building a product utilizing someone else's patent that you are aware of, you get 3 times the penalty compared to if you build it and are unaware of it. So to some extent, you want to know, and to some extent, you'd rather not. If you cannot do something differently. Is it, do you have any thoughts or?
So our policy is, because of that penalty things in the USA, I think it was because of Microsoft. They infringed some startup IP and they just say that, yeah, we did know that. And then the court put like 3x more payment, and that changed the whole game globally. So we have like that our engineers are not reading any patent text. That's like the policy in the company. And then when it comes to freedom to operate and doing the freedom to operate analysis, is it like a custom design to our customer or our own product? Then we have the IP manager, who is only one to look.
Yeah.
And he makes the freedom to operate analysis. And then he asks, like, if he don't know that are we infringing that or not, then we are looking in the broader, like, are we infringing that patent or not? And then it goes to all the details in the claims, all the commas, and what it's actually preventing and what is free. But yeah, that's the
and then you can actually go find prior art to kill someone else's patent. We've done that as well, actually.
we know in our area that like in the waveguides there are 2,500, 3,000 patents, but hardly any litigated. No. And we know that, okay, there is this patent that we are infringing on this one, but there is this prior art that will actually litigated, cancel that patent.
And many times if the prior art is on academia, it's not found by the patent attorneys.
Yes.
But I think, we're done here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Great to see you in person. And we'll have to do it some other time as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's go and have a beer.